Hey, good people, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be giving you all my review on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 4. Guys, I'm trying to get to 400 subscribers, so I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. Also, if you would be so kind to give me a like, and most importantly to me, drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I feel like this particular episode, they're really trying to paint Sutton to be a drunk. I think it was mentioned prior to this season starting, someone calling her out about her drinking. I'm trying to remember who it was. I don't believe it was anybody on the cast currently, but I believe I remember an article where one of the castmates was trying to accuse her of drinking and maybe even being on something else. I'm gonna have to see if I can find that article. But that's what the gist of what I'm getting. I also feel like Kyle, Dorit, and Erika are not satisfied unless this woman starts crying. It's just like, why are they always coming for Sutton? It's the same stuff that we've seen in years past, minus that other chick, because I'm not going to give her any life on this channel by saying her name. So when the episode starts out, all of the women are getting ready to hang out with one another. And it's really just a group of two women. So it's Kyle and Dorit, Garcelle and Sutton, Erika and Crystal. They all separately go to different places. Kyle and Dorit discuss a little bit about their marriage, and I just already see that they've sat down and created this storyline for both of them this season. And of course, their husbands are in on it. We saw a little glimpse of them talking to one another, PK and Mauricio. I really don't care if their marriages are over or headed in that direction. God bless you. I don't understand why Dorit is hurt by the things that Garcelle revealed earlier that morning about just her not being comfortable talking with them about her family. I didn't feel like it was a big deal. Girl, she still feels a certain type of way about last year, and she has every right to feel that way. If you're really a friend or somebody who wants to build a relationship with her, then you'll respect how she feels and let this situation run its course. But of course, on Garcelle's time, not on your time. Who would have thought that Crystal and Erika, of all people, would be sitting down having lunch, dinner, or anything together? I honestly feel like Erika is nomadic with these women in the group. She runs from castmate to castmate because honestly, she really has not developed a true friendship with any of these women outside of you know who. I find it interesting that everybody is having a lot to say about Kyle not drinking. I mean, Kyle must have really drank drank with an A back on these previous seasons. I mean, we've all seen her drunk and doing the splits. And by the way, Kyle, nobody wants to see the splits anymore. Okay. We've been over it. After the third time, it was enough of seeing it. But she must have really let loose. I mean, she really must have done that because I feel like all of these women are like, when are we going to see that Kyle again? Garcelle even says in her confessional that she misses that side of Kyle. We all know that there's an article out about Bravo and some of the things that they do to try to get good content for these shows, such as getting these women twisted, right? So I found it interesting and very interesting that they would keep this on the show. That Kyle said she used to pretend to drink but have club soda in her cup. I gotta say, I was really shocked by that. I don't know if she was saying that as it relates to the show or talking about the different functions that she and her husband go to and just pretending to drink. I don't know. But obviously, there's some type of pressure in her social life for her to be a drinker. I found that to be very interesting. Garcelle and Sutton are talking about Garcelle's feelings about sharing everything with the group and her surprise at how Dorit responded to everything. Crystal and Erika, they don't have anything in common, therefore they don't have anything of substance to talk about. I think they're talking about Kyle not drinking, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know because it wasn't even that important. So let's just move on. Oh no, I lied. Crystal and Erika are talking about Erika's new normal. The fact that we've already heard Erika give a response for this same question last year makes me feel like the producers are also trying to depict Erika in a different light this season, like she's an improved version of herself. So Crystal asks Erika, does she miss her old life? And Erika says, yes, I miss like Christmas and stuff like that, happier times. I don't miss the tail end of my marriage because Tom and I always fought. And they show the same tired clip that they've been showing when she and her husband go on a double date with Lisa and Ken, and he kind of just shuts her down. We've seen that. That's the only evidence that we've seen that Tom has been like that with his wife. Now, do I believe it to be true? I do. I do believe that he had a lot of control because he had all of the money. So, with money, even in relationships, come power. So, I do believe that. But I'm tired of her being asked this question, and I'm tired of this little clip that they always show. Let's move on to later in the evening. The women all get together and have dinner together. I don't know why, like Garcelle, Sutton, and Crystal, those three who never really get, in my opinion, too glammed up, brought their glam with them on this trip because I feel like they're not giving us anything that we haven't seen from them before. The one thing I think that Beverly Hills has kind of developed a reputation for, thanks to the likes of Erika and Sutton, is, they give us these drastic, not crazy looks, but these drastic looks. And that's great because that's their thing. But it's just not giving me the same feeling when it comes to Sutton, Erica, Sutton, Crystal, and Garcelle. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, girl, can y'all give us a different look or something? Like maybe Crystal add some color to your hair. Give me a little bit more, is what I'm asking for. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, don't mention that you have the glam. So they're having dinner. Garcelle brings out this game and it's talking about like how the women feel. Some of the questions were, I don't really even remember all of the questions. A lot of the questions dealt with like infidelity. What would you do if your spouse cheated on you just the one time? Kyle said something along the lines of different people handle it different ways. They tried to make it like a moment, the way that they produced it, but it was nothing special. When Erika was describing the lioness, talking about how female animals really gravitate towards the younger, stronger, animals to take care of them and stuff like that. I guess she was trying to equate that to her own situation. She's talking about how they go for the younger guys, right? So in Dorit's confessional, she's like, what the heck is Erika talking about? She married the oldest from the pack. I thought that was funny. Kudos to Dorit. I think her and her confessionals this season have been, for me, hilarious and very shady. And I wish that we could see more of this from her in real time on the show. When they're talking about cheating, Garcelle opens up a little bit about finding out that her husband cheated, and she basically sent an email out to all their friends letting them know what was going on. That was her way of outing him. And from there, obviously, their marriage dissolved. But she thought that that was her forever man. I mean, who gets married and thinks, I'm going to divorce this person? Nobody. So it's always heartbreaking to hear those stories, but it's clear that she's moved on. So one of the next questions was, when is money basically enough? And Erika says, when you don't have anxiety about getting the next bill. So she goes into this thing, and this is the first time that we really see her open up about her situation. She goes into this whole thing about how she's frightened to be on her own. Will she ever buy a house? She knows that she's not going to have her old lifestyle, or at least that's what she's saying. But it seems like she has some real insecurities surrounded by money. And as I'm hearing her go on and on about it, I'm like, girl, I'm quite sure you make over $1 million for doing the show. For a minute, she almost had me, but then it's like, girl, you were on reality TV. You too brought your glam squad here. You make probably well over $1 million a year on this platform. Even with your legal woes, girl, you're still making off better than most. So what are you talking about? And I'll be fair, a lot of these women on the show pretend that they have money that they don't have. So I guess it must be a lot of anxiety for her to try to keep up with people like she used to, that she really can no longer do. So she's boo-hooing over not being able to go on vacations and stuff like that, but she's trying to get her life back on track. Great. I'm happy for you. Focus on getting your life back together, being able to support yourself. And it's just one of those things where it's like a life lesson. Don't depend on somebody else to take care of you. I know some people will think, oh, well, she didn't fully depend on Tom. She had her own little singing career and stuff like that. Yeah, but look at her now. Singing is done. Tom is done. So the only thing that she really has, in my opinion, is this show. And clearly, this is a season where she's trying to rebrand herself. Women go bull riding later on. Nothing really crazy. Nothing really crazy happened there. Both Kyle and Sutton did a bull ride. I think Kyle lasted 25 seconds and Sutton lasted 14. Let's move on. So this is the next day. They're all ready to leave and they're waiting by the elevator. And some of the guys from the cast of Magic Mike so happen to be on the elevator as they're standing there waiting to get on. Erika is standing behind everybody. She comes all the way from the back to go to the front of the elevator, stand in the doorway of the elevator so that it could not shut, to try to call Sutton out by telling these people, lying, mind you, to the guys, saying that Sutton thought their show was Shitty, when in fact Sutton never said that. So Sutton is like, girl, I never said that. Don't lie, don't lie. She says, I really enjoyed the dancing. I thought you guys were great. The only thing, I had a little issue with was the opening of the legs, the leg spread eagle. And that was really Erika. So here we go with Erika rearing her ugly head, being exactly what we've seen her being in the past. Once the guys left, they were like, okay, we'll come back to another show next time you're here, whatever. Sutton confronts her and she's like, why did you do that? Why did you try to embarrass me? And then to lie about it. Erika's like, so, like it was no big deal to her. In her confessional, she's talking about Sutton coming after her 2 years ago. Really, Erika? I thought you're turning over this new leaf. And the way that she and everything, it just showed, girl, you're so guilty and you knew you was wrong for that. So they're all getting on the van to go to airport. Sutton is still talking to Erika about the situation, and Kyle pipes in and says that Sutton was unhinged during that show because, of course, Sutton got up at one point and walked away. I agree with Sutton when she says because Garcelle came after Sutton and Kyle found Sutton, that they kind of made it bigger than what it was. I feel like if Sutton would have went out there on her own and everybody stayed inside, they would have still had a wonderful night. Like there would have been no issue. But of course, Garcelle being a good friend, she's going out there to check on Sutton. And then I really feel like I said, when Kyle came, it really escalated it to a whole nother level. As Sutton says later on in this episode, Kyle is really not her friend. She really isn't. The first chance she got to say something about Sutton in that incident, she's over here feeding Erika information because there's a point where Erika says, weren't you really acting crazy and loud or something like that, she said, in the hallway? Sutton's like, no, I wasn't. You wasn't even there. So who could she have gotten that information from? Kyle. Then you're calling her unhinged to the rest of the ladies? To me, if you're my friend, share that with me one-on-one. I don't need you putting me on blast in front of the rest of the ladies, especially when you really don't check Dorit or Erika that way. I'm just saying, we are going to be fair. Let's be fair. I feel like if Garcelle and Kyle wanted to go back in there and finish the rest of the show, they could have done that. Simple as that. And even Garcelle kind of alludes to that on the bus. All of a sudden, now we have Garcelle and Dorit going back and forth. We know that these two have not really meshed well since Garcelle's been on the show. And it's just continued. Like they put a little band-aid over it. And really, they've never really overcome whatever their issues with each other are. Garcelle says to Dorit, I wish that you would have gone after her. And Dorit is like, yeah, I wish I would have too. So then, girl, why didn't you do it? Meaning go after Sutton. Why did it? Like, really? And then Dorit says to Garcelle, well, I wish that you would have been able to calm the situation down, take her from being a 10 to maybe a 2. Garcelle's like, I am not her therapist. I'm her friend. Exactly. So Sutton is sitting there, and I could only imagine what she's feeling. You guys are going back and forth, and I'm sitting right here. So she says, I'm not going to apologize again. That didn't last long because she then proceeds to apologize. They squash it. Dorit is still trying to talk. Sutton is like, I don't want to talk anymore about it. Dorit is still trying to talk and close out conversation when Sutton basically closed it out with her apology. So she's nagging Sutton at this point, and Sutton is like, girl, Dorit, my word for you is zip it. I don't want to hear nothing else. So for the rest of the ride and probably the ride home, these ladies took a vow of silence. Okay, nobody was saying nothing. Once they get back to Beverly Hills, I guess it's a couple of days later, Garcelle and Erika meet up. Who would have thought those two would be sitting down having a conversation? The thing that I didn't care for too much about this conversation is it seems like Garcelle is kind of agreeing with Erika about Sutton's behavior. Listen, Sutton is who Sutton is. This is nothing that we haven't seen from her before. She's very emotional. It's either you're going to take it or you're going to leave it. That's how I feel about her. The thing that I wish Garcelle would have checked Erika on a little bit more is embarrassing her like that, is lying on her. I'm not sure if Garcelle did. She very well may have, but they just didn't put it in this episode. I just wish she would have done that. Like, Garcelle, don't flip on Sutton. That's all I'm asking. Don't flip on her. Garcelle says in her confessional that maybe she's going to just have to have Sutton fight her own battles instead of her defending her so much. We'll see what happens with that. In the last scene, Kyle comes over to Sutton's house and they have a heated. Sutton has been drinking and maybe she was drunk, okay? She might have been drunk. I'm not going to even lie. I like Sutton. The girl did not seem like your normal self. I will be honest and say that. They're having a conversation. Sutton says in her confessional that she's gotten a revelation about Kyle. She's really not her true friend. They had made a pact that they were going to stick up for one another and defend each other. And the first opportunity that Kyle is given to show Sutton that she's going to have her back, Kyle absolutely failed. So I understand where Sutton is coming from and what Sutton feels as it relates to that whole situation with Kyle. And I think us as the fans, those who, really like Sutton, have been saying for the longest, girl, that's not your friend. Kyle is all up in arms because Sutton said that Kyle inserted herself in Las Vegas when she went to go see what was going on with Sutton. I don't know why she was offended by that. I guess because she felt like she was doing the right thing by checking on her friend and you're taking it the wrong way type of thing. Not enough for you to be offended, but obviously explain your position. But whatever. So she's now fired up. This is Kyle I'm talking about. She says, Sutton, you were unhinged. This is not the first time that you lashed out and was acting crazy. Sutton is like, name it. Name it. Name it. Kyle is looking like a deer in headlights. She don't know what to say or what to do. So she's like, if you would shut up, I'd be able to name it. So she talks about the trip to Tahoe, obviously the Vegas trip, and an incident that occurred at that other lady's house. I mean, listen, like I said earlier, this is Sutton's typical behavior. This is not new to us as the fans. We know how Sutton gets down. I don't know why Kyle is choosing to call her out on this when she just easily could show support to Sutton and be like, girl, yes, the way that Erika handled the situation was wrong, because it was wrong. That's what Sutton wants you to say. She wanted you to defend her, and you didn't. It's pretty much the gist of this conversation. Kyle then tries to say, do I really think that you're not okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, are you serious, Kyle? Are we really doing this right now? She once again is trying to paint the picture that Sutton has a little drinking problem. Again, I think that Sutton was a little sauced up. Do I believe that she has a drinking problem? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Maybe this is the first time that we see that she's a little drunk, but certainly not having a drinking problem. But to me, in this moment, Kyle is trying to act like she's righteous. Even if this is Sutton drunk out of her mind, this is nothing in comparison to what we've seen Kyle's behavior when she's drunk be on the show. Okay? We done seen almost all of Kyle when she's been drunk on the show. So please, save it. That's the end of the episode. You guys let me know what you thought, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.